Hey there, this is Ill Factor from beatacademy.com. And in this video, I'm going to show you how you can get that female pop vocal sound that you hear in artists like Ariana Grande and Camila Cabello. Now this video is taken from a vocal production course that I've put together called Breakthrough Vocals, where I walk you step by step on how to actually record your vocals, mix your vocals, and produce your vocals to a professional standard. Breakthrough Vocals is currently open for new students. So if you like what you learned inside this tutorial and you want more details about the course, simply visit www.beatacademy.com/vocal. You can also click the link below in the description box for more details. All right, welcome back to the vocal production course as we continue to look at some of today's top artists and use their vocal sound and production as a reference. And then I'll walk you through each step of the process of how to recreate and get a similar type of sound in your projects. For this one, we're going to be focusing on female pop vocalists. And so I'm using Ariana Grande here as a reference. So let's take a listen, and then we're going to break it down and walk you through each step of the process. So a couple cool things that are happening over there. You could definitely hear a lot of the stereo width as the doubles are panned, hard left, hard right. But then we also have this action where the vocal lead is in the middle, she disappears, and the doubles appear left and right. And so let's walk through a couple things. Now I'm going to load up a project that I have here. I'm going to play you with the processing and everything on. It's somewhat in the similar vein, but we'll go ahead and focus in on how to recreate that type of sound that we've just heard.
When things get crazy, I fall on my knees, 'cause you're the only one I ever need, yeah. Breathing life away, sustaining me. You set my heart at ease. Even when I can't see, I know. Even in the lows, I never walk so low, never look below. Set my eyes on heaven's only sign, I follow. You changed the world, lover of my soul, lover of my soul. Lately, I've been thinking that it's crazy that you ain't trying to roll without me. Got you by my side, along for the ride. You're changing the vibe lately. I've been thinking that it's crazy.
So let's take a look at the lead vocal. Now I have lead vocals, verse, pre, chorus, and bridge lead all going into one bus or group track, so that they can all be processed the same. So the first thing I have in the chain of processing is a gate. So the artist, she was a little timid and shy and very soft in her performance. So I had to crank up the gain just a little bit. And that also picked up a little noise from the room, being that I have the microphone in the same room that I'm working in. I like that vibe because I'm able to just have more synergy with the artist. I can turn around and just connect better with the artist and get a better performance that way. It works out for me. And so the gate allows any audio that's below the blue line or the threshold to not be heard. So things like AC noise and just jangles from the necklaces and things like that can be eliminated here. Then we're going to do some pitch correction. We're going to do some tuning of the pitch just from slight intonation. Now, I like using the waves tune real time. It's just really easy to use. It works great. And I like this reference tone because, again, I can use this to say, hey, this is the note you should be singing. Instead of having to arm a track and then play it and then try to look for the note. It's just easy. It's right there. It's cool. But to get the robotic effect, you would have to crank the note transition all the way to 0. So I want a pretty, the speed in which it's correcting, not too fast, but yet not too slow. So I have it right about here, about this section here. So let's take a listen.
When things get crazy, I fall on my knees, 'cause you're the only one I ever need, yeah.
This is without it.
When things get crazy, I fall on my knees, 'cause you're the only one I ever need, yeah.
And you can really hear it at the tail end of phrases.
When things get crazy, I fall on my knees, 'cause you're the only one I ever need, yeah.
And that's fine if it's not noticeable. That's the whole point. I don't want it to be completely noticeable. It is doing work. It is shifting the tune a little bit, and that's all I want it to do. I'm not looking for the robotic type of effect, which you would get if you just cranked everything down to 0.
When things get crazy, I fall on my knees, 'cause you're the only one I ever need, yeah.
So we're not trying to go for that. Although if that's the effect you're looking for, that's how you would accomplish that using the tuning. All right, next, After that, we're going to go ahead, and in this case, we're going to compress before we EQ. Now, normally I would EQ, but we compress. But the reason why I'm doing that here is because I just want a good, solid, dynamic level to EQ. So I'm going to move the EQ around before the compression and after, and you'll see the difference it makes.
When things get crazy, I fall on my knees, 'cause you're the only one I ever need, yeah.
Now, listening to the Ariana Grande and a lot of females in this space, Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande, the vocals are really, they're not bass heavy. As you can see here, we've got a lot of mud, so we're going to carve that out. It's very thin, bright, and airy. So let's open up our EQ. As you can see here, that's what we're doing. We're eliminating a lot of that low end, even up to 211. This is always going to be by personal taste and just listening in. So let's put the EQ on.
When things get crazy, I fall on my knees, 'cause you're the only one I ever need, yeah.
I mean, that is like night and day. Put this back off.
When things get crazy, I fall on my knees, 'cause you're the only one I ever need, yeah.
So we're thinning out, we're getting rid of all that low mud here, and I'm just finding out those little notes that those frequencies that can be really problematic, such as this low mid here.
When things get crazy, 'cause you're the only one I ever need, yeah.
You can kind of see it visually. It's letting you know that, hey, this is predominantly what's being picked up in the recording, this section here, so it's really big on that. But now let me switch over the EQ before the compression and see what the difference that makes.
When things get crazy, I fall on my knees, 'cause you're the only one I ever need, yeah. Breathing life away, sustaining me.
So I wanted the compression to bring up overall level beforehand. That's why I've got it before. So the compression just to give me all around gain, and that way I can go ahead and just carve out the EQ, as opposed to just EQing it and then boosting up the adding the compression and the gain after that. So after the EQ, I'm going to go ahead and get rid of some of those harsh S's that are going on using a de-esser. This one we're using the Eosis de-esser from Slate Digital.
When things get crazy, I fall on my knees.
Well, it comes with the Slate Digital pack, but Eosis is the one that makes this de-esser.
When things get crazy, I fall on my knees, 'cause you're the only one I ever need, yeah.
What we're really focusing in on is these. Those are the moments that we're trying to really reduce from the performance.
When things get crazy, I fall on my knees, 'cause you're the only one I ever need, yeah.
So getting rid of all that low mid, thinning out the vocal a little bit, is really helping me get more in line with the tone and just the overall texture that we're hearing with the reference. Now let's talk about some effect processing. So I'm giving it some space and some dimension. As I play this with the track, we notice that the vocal immediately is just going to be dry and upfront in the mix.
When things get crazy, I fall on my knees, 'cause you're the only one I ever need, yeah.
So I'm going to start with giving a small room reverb. Now, the reason for this is we're going to create a little bit of intimacy in an acoustic environment that the person's recording in. So let's enable all the sends, and I'm going to go ahead and focus. The first one we have is D. So that is a small room reverb, and I'm using the Reverb Suite Classic. So we're just trying to get with a short decay time of 722 milliseconds.
When things get crazy, I fall on my knees, 'cause you're the only one I ever need, yeah. Breathing life away, sustaining me. You set my heart at ease.
And that's really just to give some ambience, just some little bit of ambience to the vocal. Then we're going to go ahead and have another reverb on top of that. So I have another reverb here, and this is more of the hall. I'll put that on G right here. And it's another Reverb Suite Classic, but this one's set to just a basic hall.
When things get crazy, I fall on my knees, 'cause you're the only one
Now, I think the hardest part for me sometimes is mixing the verb, balancing it out. And as I listen to the reference, I notice it's there, but I don't really hear a lot of the tail. So that means that I could bring the decayed time down a little bit or just balance this out until it actually feels well. So drench the vocal in the reverb and scale back to you feel like it's really subtle. That's the whole trick here.
When things get crazy, I fall on my knees, 'cause you're the only one I ever need, yeah. Breathing life away, sustaining me. You set my heart at ease, even when I can't see.
So now let's go ahead and disable that.
When things get crazy, I fall on my knees, 'cause you're the only one I ever need, yeah. Breathing life away, sustaining me. You set my heart at ease.
So we have a small little room reverb to give a little bit of some, almost like a slapback or just some ambience, and then a hall reverb. You can try to combine the two to just create the nice type of dimension that we're looking for. And then we have a little bit on return track E, so let's turn that on. And this is just a doubler to just widen up the vocal a little bit. I'm using the Waves doubler here. I'm loading it with the basic doubler preset.
When things get crazy, I fall on my knees, 'cause you're the only one I ever need, yeah.
And that's sometimes how I feel like Ariana Grande's lead vocal is doubled, but it's really just one vocal in the middle, and it's just widened a little bit. So I'm using the doubler to do exactly that. I'm widening up the lead vocal, and so I don't have to really try to get any double takes for the lead vocal, if that makes any sense.
When things get crazy, I fall on my knees, 'cause you're the only one I ever need.
And then we have a delay, and this is more for just the actual effect to benefit the song, because I want a little bit of that vocal to be delayed. So on F, we have a quarter note delay with a little bit of a difference in the timing, set to notes here. And we've got the filter on the delay, so we're cutting off some of that low mid and the high right there, so it's going to be a nice dark filter. But then we're side chaining. Once again, we're going to let the vocal duck the delay out of the way, so every time the vocal's done, then the delay will have some freedom to bounce back into the stage. But then we're actually going to blur and widen up the delay by adding a chorus on top. So let's listen to it.
When things get crazy, I fall on my knees, 'cause you're the only one I ever need, yeah. Breathing life away, sustaining me. You set my heart at ease, even when I can't see, I know, even in the lows.
Now, there's some things that we're doing strategically, arrangement-wise with the vocals that are allowing to kind of fit in the same type of genre and style. And we're doing that with some vocal doubles. So let's focus in on what we've got going on here at the pre. So there's a pre-lead vocal here.
Even when I can't see, I know.
And I've duplicated that vocal to another audio track here, and I've just pitched it down a whole octave lower. You're going to see -11 because we've actually had to pitch all the vocals in this arrangement up a half step. So here is the low vocal.
Even when I can't see, I know, even in the lows.
So we've got that low vocal, and it's being processed. We've got some EQing here to bring out some of the mids.
Even when I can't see.
Because something you have to consider, when you pitch down a vocal, you're not going to have the same frequency response as the regular vocal pitch. So it's going to act differently. So we're doing a little bit of compression.
Even when I can't see.
I've got the compressor here, and then there's another compressor just to get a little bit more punch and snap from the actual vocal performance. I'll turn this off.
Even when I can't see, I know, even in the lows, I never walk so.
And then I EQ it again here just to get rid of some of that low mud.
Even when I can't see, I know, even in the lows, I never walk so low.
So, and that's what I'm doing with the low. So those are living together. We've got the verse and the low vox.
Even when I can't see, I know, even in the lows, I never walk so low, never look below.
And then what we're going to do is, what I noticed in the Ariana Grande record is that you have the lead vocal singing, and then she'll disappear, and then we have some doubles, hard pan left and right. So I'm kind of doing that the opposite, or the same thing. We've got the lead being doubled, and then the double will go away. So let's listen to the background vocals.
See, I know, I never walk so low.
So we've just got two tracks here, two vocal tracks, and let me go ahead and pair that with the lead.
Even when I can't see, I know. Even in the lows, I never walk so low. Never look below. Set my eyes on heaven's only sign.
So it really helps those specific, it's going to accent these specific words here, and they're going to pop out a little more as we go into the mix and just bring them up with some automation in that section.
See, I know, even in the lows, I never walk so low, never look below. Set my eyes on heaven's only sign. I follow, you change the world, lover up.
So that's how we get that nice widening, and then back to the middle, widening, back to the middle. So it's really cool to do. It's something that you would find a lot in this type of genre of music here. And then we're gonna enter right into the chorus section where we have the main lead here in the middle.
Lately, I've been thinking that it's crazy.
And then we've got two doubles of that, and then we've duplicated those doubles to go a whole octave higher. So let's go ahead and play this chorus section. You get to see what I'm talking about.
Lately, I've been thinking that it's crazy that you ain't trying to roll without me.
So here are the doubles. We have
lately, I've been thinking that it's crazy.
And then we've got it duplicated, but just a whole octave higher. And for these, I might not want to pan them hard left and hard right. Maybe just have them a little closer to the middle. And we're going to have to tune these because as they go pitched way up, the intonation or the out of tuneness of these vocals are more evident. So it's just to add some tension to these background vocals.
Lately, I've been thinking that it's crazy.
And that's really the thing for that. If I take them off,
lately, I've been thinking that it's crazy.
I kind of want them where I don't really hear them, but I feel them, if that makes any sense. And let's go walk through a little bit of the vocal processing here for the background vocals. Same concept here with the gate. And we're just doing another thing here where we're compressing, getting a good overall levels with the background vocals. And then we're going to thin out the vocals again here. Same thing. We're just dipping out a lot of that low end. As a matter of fact, I'm actually going a little bit more here. I'm thinning out the background vocals more because I want the lead to have just a little bit more of bottom or, some low mid there than the background vocals.
Lately, I've been thinking that it's crazy.
And then we're going to DS the whole group right here.
Lately, I've been thinking that it's crazy.
So that's what we're doing there. But I've got the background vocals dry in this case. So what's interesting is that we're going to let the lead vocal be wet. And I'm going to keep the background vocals a little dry here. Maybe just a little bit of that room. But yeah, they're going to be dry so that they're just in and out.
Lately, I've been thinking that it's crazy that you ain't trying to roll without me.
So what I want to do is maybe come down on some of the words and then come up to accent some of it, similar to what we did with the pre. Now, another important aspect when it comes to doubling up choruses or doubling up vocals in general is vocal alignment. Such a big key, especially with a lot of the pop music that you hear today. As you can see here, the blue is the lead chorus vocal, and it trails off right about here. But as we look at my double vocals, she continued to sing, or she held that note a little bit longer. So you're going to hear the background vocals tail off a little bit later than the lead. So we want to make it as tight as possible. Now you could use plugins like Vocal Align that will allow you to do this in a plugin format, but you can also just try your best to edit and get all the vocal parts as on point as possible. So what we're going to do is just go ahead and splice the background vocals right here. Command E. And let's go ahead and erase that. But then what we have to do is just do a nice little fade. So I'll go ahead and grab these tracks, just extend it a little bit, click here in the region and hit Alt Command F to do a nice gradual fade. Now, once I've gone through the process of aligning my vocals and snapping them and making sure that they're all on point, that I don't have any ends running longer than the lead, then I can go ahead and create some harmonies. So what I'll do here is I'm going to go ahead and duplicate the whole first background vocals. Now, I didn't have time to record harmony parts with the singer. She unfortunately left. And so what I can do is show you how to kind of create your own harmonies using what you already have. So let's take background vocal 1, hold option, and drag that down to make an exact duplicate copy. Now, normally just leaving it like that would cause phasing. So we're not going to do that, but we're going to pitch this up. So let's choose all of this, the whole part here, and we're going to choose a couple semitones up. Now, the numbers are going to be thrown off because we already have all the vocals pitched up by 1 semitone. So we can focus on the 3, the 5, the 7, things like that. So let's go ahead and try 7, which in this case would be 6.
Lately, I've been thinking that it's crazy that you.
Let's pair this with the chorus lead.
Lately, I've been thinking that it's crazy. Lately.
So we can have the lately, that's fine. And I've been thinking about it, change the pitch there.
Lately, I've been thinking that it's crazy.
And then just go to that crazy part there, and then see go down to 5. So what I'm doing is just experimenting by actually changing the pitch of certain regions to recreate the person singing that note. If you're not used to or don't know what notes to go for in harmony, try sticking with the 3, 5, or 7 principle. Start with those semitone numbers and then experiment and see which ones you like better.
That you ain't trying to.
And I might want to keep this at 5.
That you ain't trying to roll without me.
So there we go.
Lately, I've been thinking that it's crazy that you ain't trying to roll without me. Got you by my side, along for the ride. You're changing the vibe lately.
So that's background vocal 1, and we've got that pan to the left, hard pan to the left. Now let's grab background vocal 2 and repeat the same process. So this is going to create our second harmony part. All right, so then we'll do the same thing. Let's go up to 6. And the parts that I did change, which I think was here, where we went down to 5, we're going to duplicate that same thing here. So we'll go and tune that to 5. And then we're also going to cut this and leave that at 5 too. So we're just transposing these audio regions so that we're kind of recreating our own harmony.
Lately, I've been thinking that it's crazy that you ain't trying to roll without me.
See what this sounds like with everybody together.
Lately, I've been thinking that it's crazy that you ain't trying to roll without me.
Now I want the level of that to be a little subtle, more subtle than where it's at now. And I'm also going to do the same thing. Just give a little bit of that room reverb there, and I'll keep the harmonies dry as well.
Lately, I've been thinking that it's crazy that you ain't trying to roll without me. Got you by my side, along for the ride. You're changing the vibe lately. I've been thinking that it's crazy that you ain't trying to roll without me. Got you by my side, along for the ride. You're changing the vibe. My own strength feels like it ain't enough. I look to you cause you're the one I trust.
So walking away from this, what we're realizing is that female pop vibe that we hear on the Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande is really focusing on cutting a lot of that low mids that we have to the vocal, and then also these subtle reverbs. And so I'm using 2 reverbs here. So we've got the small room for the ambience, and then a hall that what we're doing is just kind of scaling back and getting it to where we hear it, we feel it, but not necessarily hear a lot of the tail end of that reverb. And the most important thing about that actually is the EQ that we're applying on that secondary reverb. So we got to make sure that you're using an EQ to really shave some of the higher end of the EQ of the reverb. And that's going to make the reverb nice and warm and dark. That way it doesn't actually get in the limelight or in the way of the vocal performance. a little bit of widening with a doubler so that that lead vocal can actually take some more space on stereo imaging, and then using our background vocals strategically to accent certain parts of the actual arrangement and then draw back to the lead vocal and then come right back into the double vocal, hard pan left and right to accent that and just have the vocals really pop out in the mix. Then we're using the same vocal parts as the backgrounds and harmonizing by pitch shifting them, utilizing a 3 or 5 or a 7 semitone kind of template, just starting by there and then working our way to matching some of the phrases that work really well with the remaining of the vocals.
Thanks for watching this video. It's taken from my flagship vocal production course, Breakthrough Vocals, that teaches you how to produce professional vocals that sound just like your favorite artists. If you've enjoyed this video, well, Breakthrough Vocals has an entire module of tutorials just like this that teach you how to produce the vocal sounds of today's top artists such as Post Malone, Taylor Swift, Ariana Grande, and many others. On top of that, Breakthrough Vocals shows you my entire system to consistently producing professional sounding vocals without needing tons of expensive microphones or the right studio space. Plus, there's even tutorials where I show you how to overcome a cheap microphone and how to work around a bad recording space. Breakthrough Vocals is currently open for the next few days, so to get the full details on the course, go and visit beatacademy.com/vocal.